What's poppin', y'all? Vultures has been doing so well. He's been talking about a Vultures 2, which I don't even think a Vultures 2 should release for another several months. Like, let this one not cool off, but this one's scorching hot right now. Let it do its thing. Why add more to, an already good thing? And, that's just Ye. He's going to do whatever he wants. However, I do think what he's trying to do now may be a mistake or a misstep. Because if you guys watched the previous video, which would have been the Vlad one, you have to watch that one to understand the context that I'm going to go into. In that video, I talk about Ye pretty much has TikTok in a chokehold. Because the majority of artists, rappers, his quote-unquote competition, they're under Universal. And Universal, they stripped all their music from TikTok. So Ye, Carnival, was number one on TikTok. And it ended up going number one on the Hot 100 too. But I think it contributed. A lot of TikTok people that consume TikTok heard it on there, went to listen to it. So what Ye is trying to do right now, and I understand where he's coming from. So I posted this on my IG. Check it. Follow me on IG, at helloyassine. And he said, was talking with the team about how to release the next album. Like James Blake said, streaming devalues our music. That's another video I did. Put it up on screen right now. You should check that out. We sell albums on Yeezy.com. I got 20 million Instagram followers. When 5% of my followers buy an album, that's 1 million albums sold. I think that's a very high conversion rate. If I had to guess, I think maybe 100K would buy. That's 1 million albums sold. That's 300K more than the biggest album last year. We sold 1 million items on Yeezy.com on Super Bowl Sunday. That's really good. That's 20 million gross. So we know it's possible. How do you feel about us not streaming and only selling the album digitally? I'll give him what I think. So he continues on. In this conversation, someone said, we need the volume 2, Ye. And he says, we're going to sell it on Yeezy.com for $20 an album. Did you see what James Blake said about streaming? And he says, I don't know, Ye. People are going to pirate the album first. Honestly, getting to more people possible is only possible with the streaming service. The aim of a man of God is to reach as most people as you can. Share your message. Amen. All right, this guy's speaking broke talk right now. Like, come on, man. It costs money to make this album. Regardless, even though I disagree with the approach that Ye is taking, and I'm going to explain why more reasonably than this individual, I disagree with how this guy's coming at it. He said, this is what James Blake was talking about. You hit me saying you need vultures, but the streaming companies have made it where you don't have to value us artists. I have a platform where you can buy the album for $20. Then you bring God into it. Ye is spitting right now, I'm not going to lie. And he said, got it, Ye. It's not, Spotify is not Apple, F it. You and Blake are right. People give the value of an artist, blah, blah, blah. This guy's just kind of talking. The people bought an iPhone. The people purchased subscriptions to streaming platforms. You don't buy an iPhone from just love. The album isn't made from just love. There is no respect. This circles back to this disconnect that artists have with the consumer, which is the consumer does not care, in large part. The consumer cares enough to support an artist as much as it benefits him. What's in it for me? So if what's in it for the consumer, who is already way poorer than Ye, right? They're already looking at it like, yo, Ye, or any of these other artists, they assume they're richer than they are. Ye is actually rich. You're a supposed billionaire, and I'm struggling here, and I need to pay $20 not only to listen to your album, but I need to pay $20 and inconvenience myself by going to your site, by checking out on the site, and going to your site or somewhere every single time I want to listen to it. Now, some people will give the alternative of, hey, you can download the files and upload them to your iTunes. Do you think these young bucks know how to do that? Or these older people that just got on like Apple Music when streaming came out, they didn't go through that whole phase where you kind of had to download them and then put them on your device? They're not going to figure all that out, and that's still an inconvenience. So with this, I think, and you guys remember what happened with Donda 2? Was Donda 2 the one on Stem Player? I didn't even listen to Donda 2. I feel like a lot of people don't even talk about Donda 2. It's just kind of out there. The whole Stem Player thing happened, and I think it was a brilliant business move. I think he made like $10 million, but it ruined the distribution. And this circles back to, I do think Ye should be selling something. I do think he should be selling the music. But I also think you can't fight against the distribution and where the consumer is. Like, there's a reason Ye isn't releasing it only in cassette, because people aren't listening on cassette. There's a reason he's not releasing it only on, CD, because people kind of buy CDs, but they don't listen primarily on CD. You got to move with technology, and technology has always moved, and music has adapted with it. They started producing less records. They used to produce vinyl way more because that was the primary form of listening by the consumer. They didn't say, hey, you need to still buy this thing. Now, over time, it has cheapened the music because streaming, the person's paying like what, $10, $12 and they're listening to any and everything, versus back then, at least with every iteration of technological advancement, they were still paying for each individual project. But if I were to do this, or if I were to figure out a solution for this, I would say the optimal thing, remember, Ye has TikTok in a chokehold right now. If Ye releases Vultures 2 accessible on all platforms, right? Let's say Apple Music, Spotify, etc. He's going to get the reach. People are going to put it on TikTok. It's going to distribute to a much wider base of people. It's not going to incentivize them to pirate, which that is what he's going to be doing inadvertently, even though he doesn't want to, if he charges for it. But how could he still charge for something? This is where I think a deluxe album actually makes sense, or an alternative album, or an instrumental album. So you guys remember on Vultures 1, there was like a part, one of the songs had Quavo on it, and I think during a performance, I forgot who was performing. I posted it on my IG, which you should follow me at helloyassine, where they played Quavo's part, and people were like, damn, man, I wish we had that version with Quavo's part. So I think Ye, to capitalize on both and not harm himself from either front, he should release the regular album on all of these platforms, and then he should release like an alternative version, which is the regular album, all the songs on it, plus maybe alternative versions of like 5 to 8 tracks that didn't make it onto the official album that was released everywhere, and maybe like instrumentals alongside it. So alternate versions with like other features. That way people can still get a look that were on those songs but didn't make it to the final song. It's not attached to the final product because people are kind of buying something extra, and it incentivizes people to buy it more. Because if Ye puts it up, I'm going to buy it. Like I like supporting people that are doing something independently. I've got enough to spend where it's not going to hurt me. And I don't think it'll hurt most people, but you know, like people they're making the call where it's like, hey, $20 for this that I don't even need to buy, or do I just listen to it here? And they're going to just listen to it there. And I can't expect everybody to be like me, which I don't. That's why I'm like thinking as the regular consumer. So I would buy this, but even then, me buying the album would feel like kind of like I'm donating to Ye, as opposed to I'm getting an exchange of a product. Whereas if I'm listening to this album already and it's like, oh, hey, $20, you buy this and you get all this extra stuff, it's like, okay, this offer is a lot more of a sweeter deal than me just buying the album and you trying to take us back. This is the problem. I think people are trying to fight against the advancement of technology, which, hey, tech companies won, man. You're not fighting against them unless you guys get into some union. And even then, they're going to lose against the artists that do embrace the technology. And that circles back. I just dropped something, my bad. We're not cutting that part out, though. I think that circles back to how Ye benefited from being one of the only mainstream artists on TikTok right now, because he's independent and he's not on Universal. I mean, 21 Savage is on there too. He's on Sony, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I think that's a way for everyone to win in that case. If people don't want the extra songs, hey, it is what it is, or the alternative versions. But I think the real fans will find it valuable too. Unless he just wants to sell the physical version, you know what? That's even more likely to convert and less likely to pirate, right? Because if it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks, people like having a physical item. I'm just thinking out loud here. I have a lot of fun. I'm always running my thoughts like this. Digital album, that thing's going to get pirated immediately. It's going to get spread around, and some people it just won't even reach them, and maybe they'll listen to it once or they won't listen to it anymore. Then I gave the alternative, right, which is the extra songs. Now, the extra songs, I think a lot more people would buy it, but it wouldn't capture as much people as this next option I'm going to give, which maybe you just have the extra songs on like a vinyl, or the alternative versions on a vinyl or a CD or something physical, because it takes like weeks to ship those things anyway. People are getting a physical product. People are way more likely to pay for something physical. It's just more tangible. Like you said, oh, an iPhone. Dude, an iPhone for, what, $800? For $800, the amount of value you're getting for an iPhone it's unbelievable. It's intangible. Or $1,000, whatever you want to call it. And then, you know, the people purchase subscriptions to streaming platforms. Like I'm referencing Ye's quote earlier from the DM exchange that he had. Well, streaming platforms, dude, it's like $10 and you get to listen to any music that ever was. Whoa, That's a sweet deal. Like, you can't fight that. So I think so 3 to 4 weeks, that's going to disincentivize pirating, because the people that buy it the first people that buy it aren't even going to get it for weeks. So it's kind of like they're waiting this unboxing that they're going to make of the songs. Kind of like, yo, I can't wait to listen to this thing that nobody else has heard yet, and it's just shipping out right now. And after that, it'll probably start to surface on different platforms and stuff from people uploading clips of it. But by then, you would have already made the money off of it. It's kind of like burnt CDs, right? People used to burn CDs back in the day, but by the time like the albums kind of sold, or the albums shipped to the stores to sell, they were kind of already sold at that point to the distributors. Yeah, that's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.